Hey guys! So senior year is coming to an end, and for my senior project in my English class we have to reflect on ourselves and the way we've changed and how we've changed and what we went through, and we have to just go over and reflect on ourselves throughout high school because we're going to be leaving soon. Yes, I'm going to be going through my life and my experiences starting from 8th grade. And I say 8th grade because you have to start from your awkward, really sensitive, really strange years to the years where you just feel like you want to kill somebody at least once or twice a day. So from that, let's get started. Now in 8th grade, I went to a private school. Now I was only in a private school because my sister was a crazy lady and did not want to cooperate or anything in public school. So they threw her into a private Christian school and they threw me in there with her. Now, majority of the people who went there were petite, little, white, rich kids who had everything handed to them on a silver platter. And I was obviously the odd one out. I was chunky, I was weird. Honestly, I was a child. I was a kid. Like, that's how kids are supposed to be. They're supposed to be chubby. They're supposed to be weird. They're supposed to be awkward. That's how kids are. And that's just how I was. I was just awkward and I was chunky, and that's just how I was. So me naturally being different, I was treated different. I was treated like I had a plague, like someone who needed to be avoided the whole time I was there. And that was a really long time because I was there from 2nd grade to 8th grade, and it sucked. Me being in 8th grade, knowing that my mom and my stepdad were about to go through a divorce, and just things were just going on, you know. It wasn't the best situation for me, but it didn't make it any better having Jesus shoved down your throat like a toilet plunger. I met 3 of my best friends there, and we're even close today. I met Jessica Cornejo, Justin Buell, Sydney Winwood. They taught me that even in the crappiest places, someone will always be there to pull you out, and they'll make you feel like family. Oh yeah, and I gave you their full name, so you can cyberstalk the crap out of them whenever you feel like it. I mean, knock yourself out, you have my permission. Now, moving into the beginning of my high school years, there wasn't really much that went on during this time. I mean, me and Sydney separated, we went to different schools. I didn't really have that much friends going into freshman year. I had Justin and I had Jessica, and that was pretty much all I had. It was my first year in public school. My mother and I moved into a new place. Things just started to change right in front of my eyes, and it was terrifying. I didn't like it at all. But, you know, I just kind of learned to deal with it. I mean, I didn't come to school very much. You know, I was always at home taking care of my mom, or I was always sleeping because I wouldn't be able to sleep until about 3 in the morning. And it just wasn't fun. So my grades were poopy from that, and it wasn't really that much different than what they are now. I'll admit that. I went in there with an open mind, and you know what, I met some cool people, and that was great. But majority of the people were rude, inconsiderate, annoying, a-holes, illiterate. Am I rambling too much? Anyway, that was pretty much it. Okay, now 10th grade year. This was the most crucial part in my 4 years of high school. It changed me the most. It was the best and the worst that I've had ever. It was the year that I joined ACT, and I had no doubt that I was going to get in because I put in my application for ACT 2 weeks into freshman year, so I knew that I was going to get in. I already knew. But it was still kind of a shock when I got the letter in the mail saying that I got accepted. I mean, I remember the day that I got my letter. I opened it up, I read it, and the second it said, "Congratulations, you've been accepted." The second I saw the word accepted, I got so excited, I had to pee. It was legit, like I had to run to the bathroom and pee out of excitement. Like, I was just so happy. Like, it was great. I met Ben, our academy teacher, which he's like an older uncle, the cool uncle that you like hanging out with, the one that you can just be bros with. Yeah, that one. He's like those kind of uncles, and he was great, you know, and he pointed us in the right direction. He literally pointed. He doesn't teach ever. Ever. He pretty much just gives you projects and says good luck. That's pretty much what goes on. But I was alright with it. I mean, you kind of gotta learn things on your own, and that's what he taught me, basically. And not everything's gonna be handed to you. So, I mean, like, that was alright. I didn't mind it. But it would have helped a little bit if he would have given me hints something, just little tiny hints here and there. And this was also the year that I met one of the greatest, most influential people in my life. And I already know that even when I leave high school, I'm still gonna talk to him. I mean, I didn't realize at the time, how important he was gonna be to me until, you know what, we'll get to that in a minute. I coasted through my sophomore year, poopy grades, didn't really come to school that much. It was pretty much my freshman year all over again. You know, my mom was kind of a drunk. She got a DUI that year, and I lectured her a little bit, and we went on with our lives. I mean, it was just kind of like, whatever. I passed some classes, I failed some more. Honestly, I just didn't care. It was so much things going on that I just didn't care. I just felt like my life wasn't really going anywhere at the time, so I just didn't care. But back to that person again. Now, I'll bet you're thinking, oh, she's gonna talk about her crush. She's gonna talk about her boyfriend. No, I'm not, okay? But if you wanna hear that story, it's senior year. I'm never gonna see him again, so my crush that I've had for about a year, no, since the beginning of this year, the crush that I've had, his name is, I'm actually going to talk about a teacher, and his name is Bill Bourbonnais. I mean, he taught me how to open up and have fun. He taught me that working hard gets you to good places and that people care about you no matter what. I mean, he was there for me when my mom was gone and my dad wasn't in the picture and I was kind of on my own. You know, my sister was with her kid, my stepdad was with his girlfriend. I was just kind of like there. He was there for me, and it made me happy that I got to come to school every day and see him and hang out with him and bug the crap out of him, and it just made me great. It helped me through so much that I had that kind of stability. He's like the father that I never really had, and people don't understand how much a person, one single person, can change someone's whole outlook on life. Now, my junior year was the most difficult by far. Now, people would say, oh, it's your sophomore year. Your sophomore year is harder. For me, it was junior year. Now, I was told by my US history teacher at the time that I was 55 credits in the hole, and I needed to get out of there quick. And I decided that the best option for me was to change schools and go to a continuation school. It was kind of like my freshman year all over again. I mean, I left behind the comfort of my ACT family. I left behind people that I knew, and I left behind so many other things that just kind of made me feel at home. It was for that reason that I fought so hard to get back. So me being determined alone made me get straight A's at that school. I got straight A's. I worked so hard. I got out of the hole. I went back to Canyon, and I was working so hard to get back in ACT, and I knew it was going to be challenging, and honestly, I was up for it. I was ready to do whatever it took to get me back, and I signed up for ROP, and guess who was teaching the class? That's right, Borb. So I signed up for his ROP class. It was print graphics, and I learned how to work. Pretty much, I worked for my grade. I was in there for about 3 to 4 hours a day, and I learned how to do offset printing, screen printing, vinyls, stickers, notepads, run a printing press, do orders and fill customers' needs, and then do crystals. And I pretty much was working full-time. Like, it was pretty much a part-time job that had no money, and I was just kind of free labor. But, you know, it was fine. It made me happy that I still got to go in and see everybody in my ACT family. I still got to hang out with Borb and bug Ben and Kreider, and it didn't just help me academically, it helped me emotionally too. But everything kind of came to an end when my mom got her third DUI, and that's when we had to go through all the court things, and our relationship kind of came to a standstill. And I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I just remember thinking that I had to distance myself from her just a little bit, just to keep myself okay with what was going on. I mean, I wasn't with my family, and my mom was going through her stuff, and I was away from all the ACT people who meant so much to me, and it was just difficult. And on top of that, I had junior purge, so thanks, Ben. And at the end of junior year, everybody in ACT starts prepping for to either move on or be cut from the class. That's when we get our portfolios together, we get everything together, we get all of our old work, we get all of the new works that we have, we get together all these things and reasons why we want to stay in ACT. And me being deprived supply-wise, I didn't really have access to all the technology that I could have had if I stayed at Canyon, and I had to figure out how I was going to do it. And with the help of Borb and Ben and Kreider and everybody in ACT that gave me the push that I needed, I passed Purge, and it made me happy. But it was kind of a bittersweet moment, because right before I was supposed to present my Purge presentation, I got a call that wasn't a very pleasant one. Now, I'm not going to tell you specific deets about the call, but it was kind of like,
"Hello, is this Rebecca?
Yeah?
Your mother is going to jail for 6 months.
What?"
Okay, thanks, bye.
So I tried my best to keep all my emotions inside, and eventually I began to sob right in the middle of my presentation. But, I mean, thank God Borb was watching. He simply got up, walked over to me, gave me a huge hug, looked me straight in the eyes and said, "Look at me. Talk to me. You can do this." And I finished my presentation, and I ranked 5 in the class to move on. And that accomplishment alone was the biggest thing I've ever done in my high school career. Ever. Like, the most important thing as well. It was the thing that I'm most proud of, no matter what, over graduation. So here it is, my senior year, and I can tell you something. The biggest, most wonderful disappointment you'll ever experience. You have to pay so much money for crummy dances, senior pictures, yearbooks, grad nights, field trips. Just, it seems like really good, but paying that much really burns a hole in your budget. Like, it's just so much money just kind of coming out of your butt. I mean, you stress over what's going to go on after high school. Am I going to college? What about work? Where am I going to live? How am I going to get money? What am I going to do in life? It's super stressful. But there are some perks. Off-campus lunch, more school freedom, seniority. Well, duh, you're senior. And for those dedicated students who worked really hard from 9th grade to 12th grade, you guys get shorter schedules. You guys are lucky. Mom's come back and she's moved in with her newest boyfriend. I mean, she's not really around that much anymore, but I mean, I've still been able to learn stuff on my own, and it's been great having her, and I'm glad I've had help from Borb and a bunch of other my friends, my ACT teachers, and they've all taught me valuable life lessons, and without them, I would have dropped out a long time ago. As for after high school, I don't really have that much money right now. I mean, I had a plan, but without that key element, which would be money, I can't really do it. So I'm gonna stay home and work for a year, and I'll figure it out from there. But I plan to study art, well, animation and illustration to be specific. I want to work for Pixar or Disney, and those are really my dream. And another dream of mine is definitely to travel. I mean, I want to travel and experience other places and cultures as much as I can and as often as I can, and do it all before I get really frail and gross. I know for a fact that one day I'm gonna move to Europe and go live in London. And I don't care what people say or how hard it's gonna be, I'm gonna do it. And I will. And you know what? You guys can all kiss my butt, because I'm gonna do it. So to wrap this up, I just wanna thank the people who've helped me through so much. And now that over the years I've learned how to speak up for myself, and that working hard gets you places, and that even in the crappy situations, someone's gonna be there for you, no matter what. I want to thank Jessica Cornejo for being the best friend that I needed, Justin Buell for being the brother I wanted, Bill Bourbonnais for being the father I never had, Ben Nicashea for being the one who could always make me smile, Brett Kreider for pushing me because he knew I can do better, Caitlin Beeman for making my day, no matter how crummy, Sydney Winbush for being the one I can always talk to, and Caitlin Clark for bringing out more of myself, no matter how odd it was. So now, I'm off to be an adult. And every single day, all day, every day, like I just, way to ruin that take.